almost a year after the COVID-19 lockdown instituted by Nigeria's federal government passed over, many Nigerian enterprises are still playing catch-up to optimize their digital transformation. While a few companies have taken advantage of cloud-managed services to improve their organizational and technological resilience, several others are struggling to maintain business performance levels while keeping employees safe. Yet, in other climes, COVID-19 has accelerated the digital transformation journey of many enterprises. So how can enterprises here get to that digital transformation journey? Let's talk to Mr. Gbolahan Awelewa, Country Manager and CISO at InfoPrive. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, so what are the opportunities that the pandemic has brought to transform, I guess, how enterprises execute their vision and how we work and live?
Okay, so as we've seen, crisis accelerates change. And so it's been an opportunity for businesses to become leaner, to run leaner and become more sustainable. Also, operationally, it's been an opportunity to also be able to, do away with waste and, drive efficiency. So some inefficient functions, roles had to go. So fine, it probably affected some job roles. But it also helped streamline to what works best, which is what skills are required, what roles are required, and then drive efficiency. From a work-life balance point of view, working remotely, holding your meetings remotely, driving projects remotely, which is, for me, the most critical. So we, throughout last year, more projects were handled, projects were driven swiftly. The customers aligned with the remote, function of, driving the project instead of we coming around to the client environment. So the efficiency, driving out more projects, closing projects on time was good. Then finally, the work-life balance. So being around with family, being able to maybe be healthy. For example, I hold meetings while doing my morning walks and evening walks. So efficiency and, effective work-life balance.
Fantastic. So based on your experience, what are the challenges African companies will face during COVID-19, I guess post-COVID-19, if we ever get there, and how are they adjusting?
Okay, so a major challenge was the need to innovate. So most organizations, especially those that were not inclined to run or leverage on technology, were forced to innovate. So they had to seek budgetary allocations for technology, investment in technology, scaling up in technology. Aside technology, there was also the need for, building up a cybersecurity program, for example. So once you go digital and you start running with technology, then you need to secure your technology landscape. So it was a major challenge because, for example, cybersecurity always was an afterthought. You never planned for it, or it's like comprehensive insurance. You don't feel a need to do it. But now, because you're running with technology, there's a need for you to put cybersecurity in place. So it was a major challenge adjusting, proper change management, adjusting also from the client point of view. They need to, ensure they can interface with their service provider remotely or through web means, was a bit of a challenge, but there was some effective alignment. The tenacity of the usual Nigerian workforce, helped us scale real quick. So, but the initial challenge was aligning with technology, driving your business through technology.
We can't talk about technology without talking about security, cybersecurity. How have enterprises embraced security services given the digital transformation, that COVID-19 has enabled?
Okay, so funny enough, it's been quite surprisingly, they've embraced it, very well, maybe because there were a few examples. So just at the beginning of the pandemic, a few companies were breached from a technology perspective. So a lot of companies started moving into, subscribing to security services, scaling up on their technology or cybersecurity infrastructure, also employing cybersecurity professionals and training existing teams. So building up their teams or subscribing to cybersecurity service. So I think, so just the usual business where you need to thrive leveraging technology, then you need to also put security controls in place to ensure your business is continuously available.
Great stuff. Great stuff. So what would your advice be then for organizations, especially in the financial operators, to put in place to ensure that they survive the cyber threats associated with providing digital services?
Okay, so what I would advise is, so for organizations that don't have security controls in place, they need to, put controls in place. So first is set up a cybersecurity program, have a CISO, for example, a Chief Information Security Officer, build a security team, put controls in place, ensure the controls are properly configured, ensure your staff, they're properly trained. If you can't afford it, if budget is a concern, There's a managed security service option. Subscribe to professionals that can help you handle this while you focus on your business objectives.
Great stuff. Cyber threats and scams have become, more rampant over the last few months. How can enterprises and government as well improve sensitization on cybercrime or technology-related scams?
Okay, so I would say some organizations, some enterprises have been doing a good job at this. So especially the financial institutions. So we've been seeing a lot of security awareness programs. Some of them have even improved to different languages. So it used to be English, now in Yoruba language, Igbo language, the Hausa language. So you can permeate through the different regions. Also, just having awareness programs regularly. So there are some open organizations that do steady awareness programs, like the Niger-Secon or CyberSafe Foundation. And the job is to just let people know for free information on how to manage your information, how to manage your data, how to manage your financial information, for example, which is the most critical, and just personal information to protect your assets generally.
I have to ask you a question that seem a bit ironic. Since we're talking about tech and sensitization for technology, do the sensitization programs themselves have to be online, or there's a need for them to be offline as well?
Well, there used to be a lot of online sensitization, but now there has to be on ground. So, for example, like going to the marketplace. So because a lot of people go to the marketplace from a financial inclusion perspective, are opening accounts, encouraging some of these market women to, open the digital accounts through some of these digital banks. So that same approach of getting your workforce to get them to open accounts, that same force should go to the markets, go to the public places, billboards, for example, ads on all platforms, online, on TV, during programs, and just generally everywhere you go. Churches, religious houses, every opportunity you have, be able to communicate that, the security of your information is very critical and you should handle it effectively.
Fantastic stuff. You mentioned financial inclusion. I have to ask, because we're just talking about telco financial performances in 2020. How important of a role are they to play, do you think, in your view, in closing the financial inclusion gap in Nigeria? Telcos, that is.
Okay, so I think the role is very critical if they are given the opportunity to be able to run effectively. So I know there were issues around letting them run effectively, vis-a-vis the existing financial institutions. They have the information, they have the data, and I think they're better positioned to also secure the populace, which is, the average citizen that is trying to subscribe to this financial inclusion, service. They are in a better position to ensure that, we are streamlining to exactly the person that owns this SIM and this number, that's the person carrying out this transaction. So I think working hand in hand with the financial institution and the regulator, we would be able to achieve some effectiveness in this.
Very illustrative conversation. Thank you so much, Mr. Gbolahan Awelewa, country manager at InfoPrive. Appreciate your insights on technology adoption in a post-COVID world. Thank you so much for your insights, sir.